If you are struggling with product photography for your website or maybe one of your clients, this is the video for you.
Welcome to Desires with Purpose. Today I'll be taking you behind the scenes of one of my at-home photo shoots as we shoot the product photography for one of my clients' Renew Beauty Med Spa. I'll be taking you through a Fotodiox lightbox tour, going over my camera, what camera settings I use when I'm shooting these types of photography, as well as how I edit them in Photoshop whenever it's all said and done. So let's get into it.
Okay, so this is the lightbox that I use. This is the Fotodiox. Again, I got it on Amazon. I will link it below in the show notes. And this is how we put it together. It folds up to be very compact, which I do really, really love because it's portable. I can take it with me to my client's location and shoot on site. Or again, I prefer to just shoot in my own home because that's lovely. Okay, so this is the plug that it comes with. So I'm just gonna get this hooked up. This is really nice because it has an adjustable knob here for your lights. And voila, we have light. So there's several ways that you can get in to the light box. So I'm gonna flip it so that this window is on the front. Okay, so now I've got it so that this little thing is on the top, and then I've got this window here. My lights are up here, and let's finish setting this bad boy up. So I'm actually gonna just pull down this front flap like so. Make sure all my Velcro is sticking. Isn't this thing fabulous? Okay, and you can see that I can adjust my lights. Cool, okay. So now I got to get a background. So I do have several different backgrounds. I have blue, black, gray, and white. Where's white? My assistant. Oh, look, my assistant came. Hello. Hello. Might just be getting ready for plan B. Yeah, it's looking like plan B. Looking like plan B. What a shit show. What a shit show. All right, well, so plan B is a giant roll of paper that I got from a camera store here locally, and I cut. This is 60 centimeters wide, so it will fit my background here. Sometimes you have to improvise, you know what I mean? I have my box set up right here. I've lifted up this top flap, and you'll be able to, I'm gonna turn off the light so that you can see. There's Velcro that's right here in these corners and then right here in the middle. Obviously, I don't have Velcro on this, but these backgrounds that it comes with, they do have Velcro. They have Velcro on the corners. So it's very easy to assemble. So, so I'm gonna put my background in and then we'll get started. This video has really taken a turn, hasn't it? Okay, so I've got my background in place. It doesn't necessarily matter because all that matters for my particular needs is that the product itself is well lit and super crisp and white balance. And that way I will be able to send this off, either edit it myself or outsource the edits. A lot of times I use Fiverr for things like that. But yeah, now let's get started. Okay, I've got my lights turned up all the way. I've got my ISO set on 100. I've got my aperture and shutter speed, sorry, f-stop is like 7.1 or 8. And then my shutter speed is like 125, maybe 100. I'm gonna test the first one. So for these products, I take them out of the box. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. So I've got my product here. And again, this part of the box isn't necessarily gonna matter, because we're gonna fix all of that in editing. So, but truly my shutter's it's not looking so bad on the camera screen. So I'm gonna just make sure we're adjusted here. Okay, looking really good. Okay, and now I'm gonna make sure that it's in focus. I always make sure it's gonna be super crisp and it's looking good. So then I come in and I'm gonna add the box. There we go, looking good. I do generally take 2 photos of each just to make sure in case one is not in focus. Again, you hate to get into post-production and then you have photos that are not in focus. So, first product is done. Those are looking really good. Okay. Okay, a couple tips while I'm in the middle of thinking about all of this. First of all, whenever you are taking product photography like this, you want to make sure that everything is as exact as it can be, as perfect as it can be while you're shooting. That will make editing so much easier. So like there were a couple of these products that had like smudges on the bottle. So I always have like a towel or something that I can wipe products down with to make sure that they're looking pristine whenever I snap that photo. The other thing is you can definitely use an iPhone to shoot product photos like these as long as you have a tripod. You just want to make sure that your camera is absolutely as positively still as it can be so that your photos are going to be super crisp and in focus. Another thing that I prefer to do whenever I'm taking lots of product photography, I definitely have a system. So for instance, I try to go brand by brand, and that way things stay more organized on my SD card. So what my process is to unbox all of the first brand, put it to the side, take my photos. As I complete the photos, I've got my bag right here, which has all of my completed products, and that way everything stays super organized. And the last tip while I'm thinking about it is I try to take photos of products that are similar in size first. And I do that by brand. So for instance, with the Elta products that I just shot, I started with the shorter ones, and then I moved to the middle-sized ones, and then I shot the larger ones last. And as I do that, I will adjust my camera height slightly so that all of the photos look like they're from the same perspective still, even though the bottles are different sizes. So hopefully those are helpful. Again, if you are enjoying this video, please hit like and don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any updates.
Okay, so we have finished shooting. I have gone through all of the photos, made my selects, and I have them all saved as high resolution TIFF files. So I'm able to edit them real good. The first thing I'm going to do is try to remove the background so that I can isolate the product. So most of the time you're using the Photoshop 2025 with the help of AI and stuff. It does a pretty good job removing the background. So this client has, again, specific direction for each photo. So the background is going to be this very slight gray. The hex code is EAEAEA. I'm going to create a new layer and then put it on the bottom. And so with this, I'm actually going to create a little bit of a shadow. And I'm going to take my pen tool and just hit the P button. Make sure that my fill is on. There we go. And I'm just going to draw it kind of in the shape that I want the shadow to be. I want it to kind of go out this way, a little bit like that. So close the path. I'm gonna then move this behind here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up here to filter and I'm gonna go to blur gallery, and we're gonna go to tilt shift. So this allows you to control where your blur is. So with this middle circle, that's where the light source is, I believe. So you'll see as I turn it, then it will, and you can move all of these. So you see how it starts to get blurry over here by the dashed line. So I'm actually going to move this a little bit further over, maybe even a little bit more. And I'm going to increase the blur amount. And then once we are out of here, I will take down the opacity just a little bit on our shadow layer. I think that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to hit OK for enter. If I change my blending mode down to soft light, it gives you that really nice shadow effect right under your bottle. So I'm going to come in here and work on these reflections just a little bit. I'm going to get my remove tool, which is awesome. And I'm just going to kind of go across the top. And you want to make sure that you are selected on the correct layer. Otherwise, it won't generate what you want it to. So that one wasn't very good. So I'm going to reduce the size of the brush just a little bit and try it again. Okay, that was a little better. Sometimes you have to kind of do it piece by piece. And I think it kind of starts to understand what you're trying to do, and then it'll get there. So this is why I send these photo edits out. I have found somebody on Fiverr that I utilize for this kind of stuff because this does take me like a long time. I mean, especially if I want to do the photo right. And there are people that are just much more skilled at Photoshop than I am, and I would much rather just pay somebody who is an expert in that. And then that way it can free me up to make YouTube videos. So it's looking pretty good. The exposure is really close to almost blown out. But I think it's a very reflective bottle, so it's very difficult to photograph. But I think it's gonna look okay. So I think our bottle looks pretty good. Okay, and that's how I edit the photos that I've taken using the lightbox and my Canon. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to get more, get notified of new videos and stuff. And I'll see you next time.